This is Practice Exam 1 for the Microsoft Excel Associate Certification Exam. And in this practice exam, I'm going to be going a little bit slower than I am on practice exams 2 and 3, where I will speed up because the exam is timed. We want to make sure that you can get things done quickly. Okay. So on this practice exam, we have 5 parts. We have 5 different worksheets. Each worksheet has between 3 and 4 tasks. So you can see we're on part number 1. We have 4 tasks on this worksheet. And I'm going to go through each of these tasks with you. So task number 1, in cell G7 to G34, use conditional formatting. So we should already know right there what that means. We're going to use conditional formatting in the Home tab to apply the green fill with dark green text format to the cells that have values greater than 20,000. Okay, so it's going to have some conditional formatting conditions on it. And there's 2 ways to do this. I like just going here to cell G7. I'll hit the Shift Control down button and it will highlight that cell, that column for me. Another easy way to do this, and I'll click out of here, is go right here to the name box and just type in, and this will be fast for you on your exam, G7 colon G34, enter. I don't know, G7 colon G34, and you see that it highlights that same column. Okay, and that could just be a fast way to do it. And it says use conditional formatting. That's on the home page. Go over here to conditional formatting, do our drop down, and highlight cells rules because it's asking us to apply that. And the question said greater than 20,000. So we're going to use greater than, and we're going to type in here 20,000. Right now it was showing all of it, and it says with green fill with dark green text. So we're going to choose green fill, dark green text, and click OK. So now we can see that we've highlighted the ones greater than 20,000. The next task, task 2, is perform a multi-sort. We've done this several times, and it says sort the table by sales representative A to Z, and then by total revenue, largest to smallest. So that's over here in our data tab. Click on our data tab. Click over here and sort, and it's going to ask us we want to sort by our column. We're going to sort by, and it shows. So let me click on this actually. So let me click over here, and now click on data and sort. So it brings up my columns there because it was just showing all the columns at the top. But by clicking on the table and then data and then sort, we're going to sort by sales representative A to Z. We're going to add a level now, and then we're going to sort by what it asked for was total revenue, largest to smallest, and click OK. So now we have Ivan, Jamie, Jackson, and we have total revenue, largest to smallest. All right, it says in cell K24, use a function that will calculate the highest value. So as soon as we see this highest value, we're looking at max. If you remember the max function. And so in cell K24, which is down here, largest revenue K24, use a function that will calculate the highest value of the total revenue column. Now we have already named the total revenue column as a named range total revenue for you in this task. So in this case, it's equal max, and we're going to bring in max. And the number is, so what we would look at, and we're just going to type in total revenue. Start typing that in, then grab it, and then click enter. And so we see that the maximum revenue of all the revenue was 24,886. The last thing is add a total row to the table to display the totals for each quarter and the total revenue. When it says totals, that means sum. So we can come down here and sum each of these columns, and that would be correct on the exam. But an easier way to do that, because this is a table, we can click on the table, click up here on table design, and we could just add total row. Now when we add total row, it only adds it to the last column and the total row, and so it's got total revenue. But we've done a lot of dragging to the right. You can also drag to the left. So I can put my mouse over here, grab it, and drag it to the left. And now this was a quick way to do it. And you've added a sum total, you can see there, subtotal, to each of the columns. And now we've completed part number 1. Let's move on to part number 2. Okay. So on part number 2, it says enter a formula in cell C8. So there's C8. Okay. That multiplies, so we see that multiplies, this is a math formula, the values in quarter 1 by the quarter 2 underscore increase named range. So if you see this on your exam, they've already named the range for you. And it says do not use a cell reference in the last part of the formula. So we can in the first part. On the last, they want us to use the named range. So over here in cell C8, it's equals, because that's starting our formula, and we're multiplying the values in quarter 1, so B8 times, which is shift 8 on your key, and now we want to multiply it by quarter 2 increase name range, and we just start typing in quarter 2, and we see it comes up quarter 2 increase. And that's it. Just hit enter. And then we can copy this down, either by double clicking or dragging. And we've completed task number 1. Now task number 2, this is a little bit tricky. It's not hard, but read the task. Change the horizontal alignment. So here's the alignment of the sales rep names. Here's the sales rep names to left indent. So it wants it to be left indent, and then set the indent to 1. If you come up here in the alignment and highlight that and just do increase indent, that is not the correct way to do this assignment. Okay, so it wants you to do a left indent and then set the indent to 1. So under here, under alignment, after highlighting the sales reps names, not sales rep, it says the horizontal of sales rep names. Highlight those, go to this pop out here, alignment settings, and here under alignment, okay, if we're not in there, we click on alignment. We have our horizontal alignment, and it's asking us to make it a left indent. So go down here and choose left indent, and then it's saying set to 1. Set the indent to 1. So do 1 and OK, and you can see that we have a left alignment on our names, and it's been indented by 1. Okay. Now the last thing in this one is cells G8 through G13. Insert a column spark line, and notice it's saying column spark line. We've done line spark lines before, but this is a column spark line to compare the quarter 1 to quarter 4 values. So over here in trend, the easiest way to do this is here in G8 in our trend. Okay, we're going to just click on that. We're going to stay in there. We're going to go to our data tab. Actually, we're going to our insert tab, sorry. And to the right is we have our spark lines. In our insert tab, we have our spark lines. And we have 3 choices on our spark lines. We have choice line, column, or win-loss, and it's asking us for column. Click on column, and now it's asking us for our range. And so over here on our data range, we're just going to choose column cell B8 and drag over to E8. So that's our range, B8 to E8, quarters 1 through 4, and click OK. And now you can see that we have a column spark line, and I'm just going to drag that down, and it will include all these others. And that's the easiest way to do task number 3. Now we're going to go to part 3. task number 1, it says filter the data in the table. So we got to look down. This is our only table we have is right down here. Okay. Filter the data in the table so only the orders with chocolate general assortment is displayed in the description column. So here's our description column, and it's asking us to display only the orders that say chocolate general assortment. So if we scroll down here to the table, we already have our filter buttons on here because it's a table, and most likely on your exam you will already have those. Just click right here in the description column, just click the filter, and it comes up, and the easiest way here is to select all. Okay, so nothing's chosen, and then select chocolate general assortment. And now click OK at the bottom, and you can see that it's filtered this table by just chocolate general assortment. That was step number 1. Step number 2 is apply the title style. So notice this title style, we're looking at a style to the company name in cell A4. So if I come over here and click on A4, we can see that this has already been merged in center, which is fine. And it says title style. So right here, if we're not in there, click on the home button and cell styles. We're looking at styles here. And we're not doing conditional formatting or formatting the table. We're formatting a cell. Click the drop down, and we have all these different styles. And under titles and headings, because we're looking at title style, we'll go over here and choose title. And that was it for task number 2. Now in task 3, before when we've named a range, we've either named a column or a row. Okay? In this, you can actually name the column and the row. Okay, so it says name the range A9 to B12. So we can come up here, and one of the easiest ways to do this is in the name box. We can type in A9 B12. Okay, A9 colon B12, enter. And you see that it is highlighted A9 to B12. We actually wanted B11. So I'm going to drag that up to B11. So we can do that again, A9 to B11. Okay. And now that this is highlighted, just go up here where it says A9. We're going to backspace that out, and we're just going to type in order underscore info, because you cannot do a space in naming a range, and click enter. And now to see if we did it right, we can click anywhere off of here. I'm in cell C9. I can go into my name box drop down and see that I have order info there. And I can click on it, and it says A9 to B11 is highlighted. And we've completed task number 3. Let's move on to task number 4, or part 4. In part 4, we have 4 tasks. Our tasks are in cell I9, use a function that will display popular if the value in the total column is greater than 12,000. If not, leave the cell blank. So by looking at this, we can see that this is the if function, because it's asking us to display popular if the value. Now in the if function too, we can also see that we have a logical test. And in that logical test, it's telling us what it is right here. If the value in the total column, so that's column H, is greater than 12,000. There's our logical test. So come in here to I9. So it says cell I9, and it's equals if is our function. Choose if, and it tells us right here what we need to do. We need to have our logical test. And our logical test, it tells us if the value in the total column, that's right there, that's H9. I'm just going to click on that. If that value is greater than, it's telling us it's got to be greater than, and greater than what? Greater than 12,000. That's our logical test, comma. And notice it highlighted there what our next thing is to do as part of this function. And that highlighted is if the value is true, what do we want it to say? In this case, we want it to say popular, and we got to put that in quote so that it knows it needs to type that in. So if our sales are greater than 12,000 for that particular ice cream, then it's popular. Comma moves us to our next portion of the function. So to move between what we need to do in our function, we always have to add a comma. And then it says, what do we want to add if the value is false? It says, if not, leave the cell blank. And we've done this several times now. This is the third or fourth time that we've done this. So to just leave it blank, you just need double quotes. If not, it's going to display the word false. And it's asking us to leave the cell blank, so we got to add double quotes, and we would just click enter. And we can see that we have 3 ice creams that are popular. Okay. Task number 2. Use a function in cell J9. So we were in I9, now we'll go to J9. That will count the number of times a flavor did not sell any time in a given month. And you have a very good possibility that on your exam you're going to require to do this count function. So we've already done count before, and we've done count A, which means count everything or anything. Okay, because the count function only counts numerical values. Count A counts anything. And then we also have count blank. So equals count blank. And we're going to bring up count blank. And it's asking us for our range. And we're going to choose from January to June on our table there. So we're going to choose from B9 all the way to G9 and click enter. And now, because it's a table, it filled it in for us. And we see that we have a few that didn't sell. Okay, we had a couple, like the bubble gum, no sales in January and April. So it counted that for us. All right, now it says in task 3, use a function in cell M8. So we're already over here to M8. That will allow you to create an email by joining the first name in the employees column with the company email. And when it says join, we should remember that's the concatenate or concat formula. So the formula that we're going to type in here is concat. So equals concat. Okay. And we text on it. When we click on it, it asks us what our first text is. Our first text is Avery. Okay, we're just going to point there to L8. Okay. Comma. And then it's asking us what we want to add to this text. Okay. What are 2 things are we joining? And in this case, we're just joining at ameliasicecream.com. So quote the @ symbol because it's an email address, ameliasicecream.com. Okay. And then close quote and enter. And now we've created email addresses for everybody that works for us in this case. The last thing is it asks us to do is convert the table under Amelia's Ice Cream to a normal range without changing the formatting. So if we remember this, we can just click anywhere on the table, click on table design, and we're just taking it from a table to a range. And we'll click on table design and it says convert to a range. And when we do this, it just, all of the data is preserved and all the formatting is the same. So tables act differently than ranges. So in this case, we're converting our table to a range. And on your exam, you could either convert from a table to a range or a range to a table. This place, we're going to click on that. It says, do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Click yes. And we're done with task number 4. Now we'll move on to part number 5. On part number 5, it says swap the data in the pie chart over the axes. And we've done this a couple times already. So we're just going to click on our chart down here. We're going to click chart design. And right here to the right under our data, switch row and column. And if you notice, if I put the cursor over that, it says swap the data over the axes. So that's what it's asking us to do, is switch the row and the column. Okay, data being charted on the x-axis will move to the y and vice versa, and just click it, and you can see now that it's changed our pie chart. Okay. The second is expand the chart data to include the enrollment 2021. So if we click on the chart, I'm going to click off. If we click on the chart, you can see that we've got program highlighted. So that's where we have our axes titles. Okay. And then we have enrollment and this is where we get our pie chart, and it's asking to expand it to 2021 because right now it's just on 2020. So right here at the bottom, we can see that we have our little button down there. We can't see it very well, but we can just grab it and slide over. And when we do that, we've added the enrollment, okay, to there. So now we have the new pie chart. And I'll show you that again because this is what it looked like before. Okay, we added swapped our column and rows, and then we came down here and we grabbed that and just slid it over, okay, and we added our data. Okay. Now it says to apply the style 7 chart style to the pie chart with a colorful palette 4. Okay, so notice here it says style 7. So click on our pie chart anywhere there, and we go to chart design. And over here is our layouts. It's not asking for a layout, it's asking for a style. So on your exam, you can have layout or style. So click on our chart styles. We can click the drop down right here, and it's asking for number 7. And it just goes in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You hover over it to make sure you have the right one. Click on style 7. And then it's also asking us while we're in here with a colorful palette 4 color. So we come over here to the left to change colors. We click that drop down, and it's asking us for a colorful palette. Monochromatic is it's the same color with a different shade. Colorful palette is different colors, and it's asking us to choose number 4. So we can hover over it, find colorful palette 4, and choose that. And we have completed all 5 parts of this task. Okay, go ahead and now save the file. For those of you that are in Management 1400, save the file and upload it. For those of you that are here just learning on what you need to do to take your exam for the MOS 200 Excel exam, thank you very much.